About 60% of you guys think a marriage is still attainable in our current society. So let's see what TikTok thinks.
Many young men, they go into marriage not knowing that a woman is created very differently to a man, not knowing how to deal when she becomes emotional, not knowing what to do when she is very sensitive towards her feelings. So as a result, it becomes a shock to the man when he becomes married, and he realizes he has married someone who is very different to him. So it's very important to the young men who are looking to get married that they learn about the way the Prophet ﷺ was with his wives. Learn that men and women are different. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. The male is not like the female. And if you are a father, then take your son, sit him down and educate him about the rights of a wife. Educate him about what it means to be a husband. Warn him about abusing his wife. Warn him about not oppressing his wife, because this is a reality that we see day in and day out, my dear brothers.
It's interesting, man. It's the first time I get the marriage type of advice from someone in the Islam religion. But I like what he said, like a lot of young men get into marriage and they don't understand the different side of the woman that they getting married to. It might be because they just got prematurely married, so they didn't get to know each other enough. It's a different perspective from what you see on the Western side, where people don't get into marriage, but they do everything else to get to know the person. On this side, before we actually get to know the person, we get into a marriage and we don't know the actual tics that this person has, the thing that's going to put you off from them, the thing that you have to compromise on, the things you have to deal with. So it's interesting, and I like the advice he gives. Father, sit down with your son and tell them about how to take care of your wife, how to not oppress them, because that's what you see in a lot of, I wouldn't say in Western worlds, but a lot of us third world type of countries. You find that men are still very over dominant and abusive towards women. Especially men don't know how to handle their emotions in a marriage. See the next one.
The majority of marriages, the woman's top 4 needs. Number 1, security. And the way that they feel the most secure is that they have a husband that is selfless and sacrificial. He's not going down and buying a new car every time she turns around without talking to her first. He's not getting into debt. Number 2, non-sexual affection. Most women want to be hugged, they want to be held, they want to be kissed, and they want you to tell them that you love them, and it's not going to lead to anything else, and you're okay with that. Number 3, open and honest communication. Women want to talk to you, and they want you to talk back to them. They don't want you just to grunt at them. Just talk, communicate. Number 4, this is a big one. Women want their husbands to lead. This is not always happening in most homes. They want them to lead in their marriage. They want you to lead in romance. I'm making plans for dinner and I'm taking you out on a date. Like, I'm not always just saying, I don't know, what do you want? I don't know, what do you want? That's not the way you dated before. So why are you staying married that way? They want you also to lead in finances. They also want you to lead in spiritual things. They want you to lead in praying for your family. They want you to lead in bringing your kids and your family to church. The majority of marriages...
So this is not a different perspective. It's interesting. We just got Islam and now we get the Christian one. Why did I do this? Now we get a Christian type of perspective. The leadership part, that's definitely something that you can see even in society. Women don't want soft men. They want someone who can lead them, who can make the decisions, but the good decisions for them, where they can trust at the end of the day with their decisions. I'm not married myself, but I just like listening to this type of people who are married talk, and I pick up a lot of advice from them. But it's interesting that the third point that he raised contradicts the fourth point. So they want someone who has this leadership role, but the third point, he said that she wants a back and forth, like an open communication vibe. If you're the leader and you make the decisions, how are you going to do open back and forth and just stick to a certain decision that you made when you're going to go back and forth on it? I know that's not what he meant. He meant when she's perhaps upset about something, when she's perhaps needs some advice about something, when she needs to talk about stuff, when she needs to vent, you don't just sit there and just like grunt, okay, and then just go on with your day, or you're busy watching football and she's talking and you're not listening. She needs that communication with you, even with some decisions that might affect her, with maybe certain emotions that she's feeling. You need to communicate those things. And definitely the first point and the second points are very valid. security. If you are a man and you are in a marriage, whether or not you are the main breadwinner, whether or not she makes more money than you, you need to make sure that you guys are secure financially. Don't make dumb financial decisions by buying unnecessary stuff without consulting your wife. And the non-sexual affection, definitely, everything doesn't need to lead to sex. You need to at least show affection and not expect more than what she's capable of giving at that point. But okay, I like that advice. Next.
You 103 years old?
Yeah.
And you 100.
Damn.
You got to be the prettiest 100-year-old. They've been married 82 years. So now, Miss Willie, you said that the secret to a happy marriage is being nice to each other.
Yeah.
Any other advice you have?
Just sit down and talk things over.
Talk things over.
Oh, yeah, and get a good understanding of what you're doing and where you're going.
Simple. Just talk things over. Before you rush to the wrong conclusions, talk things over. Before you get mad, talk things over. Before you do something wrong, talk things over. Especially the getting mad part. Before you assume things happen, before you get mad at something, talk things over. Simple. 82 years, man. Come on.
Your love is a perfect embodiment of why we should all believe in love and its power. Love is the base. Now you may say your vows.
Pause for a moment. I just realized when I got up to the end of the aisle that I'm missing half of my dress. Maybe I could put it on now.
All right.
What does that mean?
I'm not kidding. Two nights ago, I had a dream that I did this. That I walked on the aisle without it. Here comes the dress.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys have never been to a wedding like this before. Okay, now I'm almost dressed. Okay, we can resume.
This is an interesting one. This is very interesting. I can look at it two ways, right? Two ways. One, do you really want to marry somebody who is so superficial about how they look? Literally stops your entire wedding before you have to say your vows, the most important part, and she's worried about the dress. The other perspective, though, it's the perfect moment. It's her perfect moment with you. I'm about to say my vows. I'm about to take the pictures. I'm about to take the videos that we're going to have for the rest of our lives. I need this moment to be perfect, and I'm missing the perfect part of my dress. Interesting one. Let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think about this situation? Is she being selfish, or is she just trying to make the moment as perfect as possible for the future memories of this moment? It's interesting. I just said her the whole time. Eh? I think I can believe that. That's definitely true. That makes sense. Yeah. I should find this point very, very important, even in just relationships, especially my relationship. We don't involve our family in our fights. You don't even involve your friends, because someone's going to take sides, someone's going to make things worse, and someone will always remind you. The next time something happens, they will remind you of everything that happened in the past, and that's going to completely inflate or conflate whatever inflate your decision in the rest of the relationship. So it's tough. Lack of financial stability reveals more problems in marriage. This is true. This is definitely true. A man usually becomes more aggressive when there's not a lot of money. Women become more retract because they feel like what's the point of this? That's definitely a good point. I like these. I definitely like these. These are definitely tips that you can follow in your relationship as well, even before marriage. Especially if you are cohabiting, if you are raising a child together, if you are just in a relationship but you're in the long-term relationship vibe. Definitely advice that you need to take.
If this ain't what my marriage is like when we get older, then I don't want it.
look here, darling.
Oh, ain't no darling.
Baby, darling.
I love it, man. Keeping it playful. She's serious though. I think she really wants to take him out, bro. But he's like, just come here, baby. Just come here. Let's leave it at that. What do you guys think of the video, man? Marriage? Built to last in the society? Or are we doomed forever? Let me know.